distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and 9 members of the House of Representatives who have given me the mandate to address you this afternoon on their behalf concerning some developments in Osun State. And those developments border on the judicial pronouncements on the local government elections that were held on the 15th day of October 2022. Let me give a little context to this. Shortly after the last governorship election in Osun State in the year 2022, where Senator Ademola Jackson Adeleke was declared winner of that election, and preparatory to his swearing in on the 27th of November 2022, the then governor of Osun State, Alhaji Oyetola, who is now the Honorable Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, hurriedly organized a local government election, which was not done in the last 12 years of the APC administration in Osun State. No local government election held in 12 years. 8 years by Governor Gov Adeleke, 4 years by Governor Oyetola, no elections held. And suddenly, after he lost election in 2022, he announced that he was going to hold local government election and went on to conduct the election on the 15th day of October 2022, barely 1 month to the swearing in of a new governor. That decision was challenged in court by our party, the People's Democratic Party, in one suit, and by the All People's Action People's Party, APP, in another suit, both filed before the Federal High Court in Oshogbo in Osun State. Judgments were delivered on the 2 suits, nullifying the conduct of that election in the month of November. That judgment was given on the 30th day of November 2022, nullifying the conduct of that election and declaring that the purported law under which the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission conducted that election was in violation of the Electoral Act, which is an act of the National Assembly, and that all conditions precedent to the conduct of a free, fair, and credible election were not met by the OSEC. On the basis of that, the local government councils were dissolved and caretaker committees were appointed by the Governor, His Excellency Ademola Adeleke. Let me go to the text. I just provided that context so that we can have an understanding of what is happening. I will read this text and then I will take questions as they may occur. The Osun State Caucus of the National Assembly, Abuja, 3 senators, 9 reps, representing the 3 senatorial districts and 9 federal constituencies of Osun State, has chosen to address the press, having observed the political happenings in our state in the last few days, bordering on the judicial pronouncement of local government election conducted in Osun State on the 15th day of October 2022. Having observed the breaking of law and order in Osun State in the last few hours, this address becomes imminent and indispensable for us as representatives of the people who have sworn to uphold the rule of law and defend democratic principles at all times. We use this medium to condemn the brazen effrontery of the sacked local government council officials to return to office, notwithstanding the yet to be set aside decision of the Court of Appeal. I take that again. In spite of a subsisting judgment of the Court of Appeal, which has not been appealed by the All Progressive Congress or these dramatic personnel themselves, this local government chairman decided, this former local government chairman decided to invade local government secretariats across the 30 local governments of Osun State today. The people of Osun State woke up to the criminal takeover of the local government secretariat across the state by these sacked officials who forcefully broke into the premises of the councils in several local governments, aided by thugs and hooligans who have been shooting sporadically, wreaking havoc on the people of the state, thereby constituting a very great nuisance and danger to the peaceful people of Osun State. Sadly, this is being perpetrated with the support of some security personnel relying on a non-existent judgment of the Court of Appeal. The governor of Osun State, His Excellency Senator Gov Adeleke, had a World Press Conference yesterday, Sunday, 16th of February, where he called on His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to rein in on the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Alhaji Oyetola, in his attempt to influence the security forces in the state to perpetrate this illegal and forceful takeover. In the same manner, the Nigerian Labour Congress in Osun State, as well as the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees in Osun State, raised an alarm also yesterday about information, credible information available as to the plan by these former local government officials to take the law into their hands, supported by the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. The general public is aware of two different Federal High Court judgments on the said election. One of the judgments was the suit filed by the People's Democratic Party, which sacked the product of the 2022 local government polls, while the other one was the action filed by the Action People's Party, which equally sacked these local government officials. The two cases were filed differently at different times by different parties, and an exercise of the fundamental right of each of the political parties to challenge the propriety or otherwise of the local government poll so conducted or purportedly conducted by the then Governor Oyetola, who had just barely 1 month in office after he lost the election. Although the APC appealed the Federal High Court judgment obtained by the PDP on the said case, the Court of Appeal in Akure on the 10th day of February 2025 struck out the judgment earlier obtained by the PDP at the Federal High Court on technical and jurisdictional ground. The position of the Court of Appeal was that the suit was filed prematurely at the Federal High Court. However, it should be noted that in making this decision, the Court of Appeal never made any consequential order, never gave any order to the effect that the sacked local government officials should resume office. In the same vein, a judgment of the Federal High Court in Osogbo in another suit filed by the Action People's Party at the Federal High Court was dismissed by the Court of, the appeal that was filed by the APC against the Action People's Party judgment in the Court of Appeal in Akure was dismissed by the court for want of diligent prosecution. In fact, it was the contention of the lawyers to the All Progressive Congress that the matter had been abandoned. The appeal had been abandoned at the Court of Appeal, having no longer hearing from his client. And in view of that, the Court of Appeal, on the 13th day of January this year, dismissed that appeal by the APC against the subsisting judgment in favor of the Action People's Party, which sacked these local government officials. Interestingly, the APC realizes the serious implication and the binding effect of the judgment in favor of the Action People's Party at the Court of Appeal against as a party, and it has since returned to the Court of Appeal to reopen the appeal of the party, which was dismissed on the 13th of January 2025. That application before the Court of Appeal in Akure has not been heard as we speak by the Court of Appeal. It is therefore inexplicable that the All Progressive Congress, which is pursuing the judgment of the APP and appealing against the judgment of the Federal High Court at the Court of Appeal, can turn around to take the law into its own hand and seek the execution of what is purportedly called another judgment on the other hand. We are aware that these dastardly acts are being carried out under the directives of the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Oyetola, and some notable leaders of the APC in the state in active collaboration with heads of some security agencies. This is an invitation to anarchy, and thereby it has constituted a cause of concern to us as elected representatives of the people of Osun State, to call on the whole global community and, of course, all lovers of democracy and good governance. This desperate act contradicts common sense in view of the fact that there is a local government election scheduled for Saturday, 22nd of this month, this week, Saturday. There's a local government election which has been scheduled for almost 6 months. The notice of the local government election has been published by the OSEC. The All Progressive Congress had purchased forms for this election. They had conducted party primaries. They had engaged in campaign ahead of the election holding this Saturday, 22nd of February. It is therefore baffling to any right-thinking mind on how the same party and its leaders will turn around to insist that officials that were sacked over 2 years ago should forcefully take over office in a manner that is so brazen. Sadly, this desperate act is taking its toll across the state. As I address you this afternoon, gentlemen of the press, scores of PDP members, local government workers, innocent persons have been shot, killed, brutalized, and harassed by these thugs. I have some video here of some of the persons who had been shot in the last few hours in Osun State. For example, in the Shoka local government, it is reported that 3 PDP members have been shot dead by PDP thugs in their bid to take over local government secretariat. Same thing in Borikpa local government, where mobile policemen attached to the Honorable Minister have gone to unleash mayhem on PDP members who were having their peaceful meeting and political rally ahead of the election holding this Saturday. Same thing in Aidade local government, Ilesha East local government, and a few other local governments in Osun State. We condemn unequivocally this unfolding act of state capture through violence, usurpation of constitutional authority, abuse of federal power, and gross rascality by the leaders of the All Progressive Congress in Osun, and especially the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Gov Oyetola. We hereby call on His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Commander-in-Chief, who is the father of the nation, His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and of course to all well-meaning persons, organizations, and groups, civil society, the media, and the international community to call to order security personnel who are aiding and abetting this violation of the ground norm of Nigeria, which is the Nigerian Constitution, and the sanctity of the judiciary. We call on Mr. President to instruct the National Security Advisor and the Attorney General of the Federation to properly advise the leaders of the All Progressive Congress in Osun State to toe the line of constitutionality and legality. Once you have lodged an appeal against a matter in a court, it goes against common sense, it goes against reason, it goes against good conscience to come around and seek to use barbaric methods to impose your own will on the peaceful people of a state. Finally, we want to state categorically that as representatives of the people elected by the people of Osun State to represent them in the National Assembly, we stand by the government of Osun State under the able leadership of His Excellency Senator Ademola Nurudeen Jackson Adeleke, the governor of Osun State, elected by the people of the state, and as well as on the side of the Constitution and not laws thus enabling. I thank you, gentlemen of the press, for listening. God bless you all. Duly constituted by His Excellency the Governor after the judgment of the court in the month of November, 30th November was when the judgment was given. Immediately after then, the Governor constituted caretaker committees for the 30 local government and Ife East area office. But you will recall, gentlemen of the press, that a few months ago, the Supreme Court, in a landmark judgment, ruled that local government cannot be administered by caretaker committees. And the governor of Osun State, as a law-abiding person, as a man who has respect for the laws of the nation and the constitution he has sworn to uphold, immediately that judgment of the Supreme Court was given, dissolved all caretaker committees and set in motion the process for the conduct of local government election. That was what gave a 6-month notice of local government election. And that is the process that has started since then till now, culminating in the election that is going to hold on Saturday. So there were local government caretaker committees constituted, but the governor, in obedience to the judgment of the Supreme Court, dissolved those local government caretaker committees and instructed the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission to set in motion the process for electing local government chairmen in abiding with the judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The second matter on that judgment. Now, let me just give like an analogy. It's like maybe there's a piece of land. I want to take this analogy to explain what happened. If there's a piece of land that is in contention, Mr. A comes and says, I own this piece of land. He started a case against Mr. B. Mr. C also comes and says, I hold this, another court process entirely against the same Mr. B, claiming possession of the land. Assuming that the court gives a judgment in the first case, giving the ownership of the land to Mr. B, the subsisting matter of the other case, which is Mr. C against that same Mr. B on the other land, still subsists where the court says that land belongs to Mr. C. In other words, the judgment that was given against the PDP, that was given in the PDP case in Osun, was the one that was set aside by the Court of Appeal. But there's another matter by other parties, and unless anybody wants to tell me that the Action People's Party has no right as a political party to institute a matter in court, I have a copy of the judgment here I can avail members of the press, where the court upheld the prayers of the Action People's Party and 2 other political parties to sack these local government officials and to nullify that election. Now, the All Progressive Congress filed an appeal against the 2 separately. On one of the cases, which is the one with the APP, they abandoned the appeal. And the court, on the 13th of January this year, called the matter, and the lawyer of the All Progressive Congress filed processes in court to the effect that they were no longer interested in pursuing the appeal, upon which the court dismissed the appeal. I am a lawyer, and I know the implication of that. When issues have been joined in law, and the court takes a pronouncement, it will take only the Supreme Court to reverse that decision of the Court of Appeal. So, as we speak, there is granted that there was a judgment on the PDP versus APC matter. The APP versus APC matter is a judgment in rem, binding on the whole world, which is a subsisting decision of the Court of Appeal of Nigeria, which has not been reversed by the Supreme Court. And on the basis of that, those purportedly elected on the 15th of October 2022 have been sacked not only by the Federal High Court, but also by the Court of Appeal sitting in Akure. That is the answer.
Any other question?